Guys, this is Poet Spice, and I am here to do a second part of my coloring that I was doing with you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start with the lace, and so we're still going to do that 3-color blend. And I just love my alcohol markers. Okay, so I filmed this a while ago, but I just finished shopping on Amazon because it is Prime Day, okay? And I went over there, and my girl JoJo was like, hey, Mythographic is on sale, so you can get a double so you can use your alcohol markers. Not Mythographic, Mythomorphia. And I was like, duh, why didn't I think about that? So then I was like, okay. So I went to Book Outlet because usually it's cheaper over there. And I had my cart loaded up and I was about to check out. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm about to go over here on Amazon and see what they have. So, how about they had the 2 newest Joanna Basfords plus some other ones, both Fragile World and World Within Worlds, and a bunch of the other Kirby Rosanis books, if not all of them. And they even had Marie Trolle books, which I'm not really into her, so I only have one book of hers. And Hanna Carlzon, yes, Hanna Carlzon hardback books. Buy 2, get one of them 50%. Now, when you look at the ad, it's like, anyway, I don't know how they do it because it doesn't really show just like half off the price. It takes some off of each book. But I was like, yes. So I went and ordered all the ones that they had so that I could color with what? My alcohol markers. Because I love them. So now I will have 2 of each of those. So ridiculous. I know. So ridiculous. But it is what it is. So as you see, I love my alcohol markers. So what I'm doing here is coloring the lace. And I'm using those 3 tones. And once again, from the previous video, the light source is coming from the right. So the left-hand side is going to be a little bit darker. Not that it's an overly shadowed one. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. We're just chit-chatting. Just chit-chatting. Yeah, don't forget to go ahead and play along with my steampunk hashtag because it goes all the way through the rest of June and July. So, woohoo! Play along, play along. It'd be so fun. I love steampunk. Love it. And I'm using my Nouveaux and my Aspires. Then I switched to some other Aspires and so forth, and some glitter markers and all that kind of stuff in here. But I just love it. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this side as well. And remember, you're going to have shadows anywhere there will be an item over top of another one. So something that's in front is going to cast a shadow. Anything underneath will have a shadow on it. So you're going to color all those in with darker colors. And you'll notice that I go from light to dark, but you can also do it the other way around. I think it's easier for a lot of areas to do it light to dark, so then you can kind of control how dark it is. The one thing with alcohol markers, if you are not familiar with them, is you cannot really go lighter. So once you put that dark color on, you are pretty much stuck with it. You can get it out a little bit, but it's pretty much there. So if you go light to dark, then it's easier to do. Now I decided I was going to do the skirt in the same way and do it with the creams, because I kind of didn't want to add another color. But oh my god, excuse me guys, so crazy. It's cold outside. Well, actually it's probably hotter outside, but we got the air conditioning on because I cannot stand to be hot. It just makes me itch, and I have sun allergies, and I have really bad allergies to skin allergies, so I have to be careful of being in the sun. I have to be careful about like soaps and perfumes and fingernail polish and anything that is a chemical or a fabric, and it's ridiculous. So when I'm in the house, we try to make sure it's cool enough but the temperature outside is not that warm for summertime. It's like 70 something. So it's a little chilly in here, which is making me sleepy. Or hey, what? I could just be lazy today, and that's what it is. That's what it is. What kind of person are you? Some people are like, I can't sleep when it's cold, and other people are like, I can't sleep when it's hot. What type are you? I'm a fall asleep when it's cold type person, and it's really bad when it's wintertime because I get sleepy. Excuse me. I get sleepy when I'm cold. But when you're at work, you can't fall asleep. So then that makes me grumpy. And then people irk me even more because I'm grumpy. So that makes me grumpier. So yeah, cold is not my friend. And yet I live where I live. Mainly we live where we live because it's a reasonable, at least halfway reasonable as far as cost goes, you know. Can't live downtown Manhattan on a teacher's salary. Lord have mercy. You'll be literally downtown on the street. Maybe that was a little TMI. Anyway. So here we go again. And now I'm coloring the sections brown. And I will also be doing like a dotted kind of mottled look. So that way it'll have that kind of worn, leathery feel to it when you're looking at the picture. And that's also another way that you can get a fur texture if you don't want to sit there and do flicking motions. Flick, flick, flick. Because sometimes it's kind of hard to get that motion. But if you do like a pointillism or dot with flicks over it, that helps a lot. Okay, I really am just rambling, so this is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. So let me know, you have any questions about alcohol markers in coloring books? I don't see a lot of people who actually use alcohol markers with shading and so forth. I see a lot of flat coloring, but not so much shading. Or I see a bunch of people that do an alcohol marker wash and then color pencils over it to do your shading. And there's no right or wrong way. It's just whichever way you prefer. So, yeah. Let me know if there's any other questions that you have actually about alcohol markers and doing the actual shading. All right, so here's what I was talking about before. So see how I'm just like dabbing this on in spots. So I'm using the darker marker and I'm just dabbing it in weird random patterns. Then I'm using another one and going and dotting it as well. So it kind of looks weird, but you see how you can do this, and then when you go over it again with another marker, you can see how it kind of gives it that weathered look, like it's worn instead of just a flat brown color. And so like I said, you can do the same kind of thing to create like spots on an animal. Like a giraffe, you could use bigger sections. You could pattern it, like you make your strokes look like the spots on a leopard. And I always go back and add some darker colors underneath. Anywhere something overlaps, you want to put a shadow, because that'll push one of the pieces back and the other piece forward, and it'll give your piece some more dimension. Okay, so here's where I do add color, because it'd be kind of weird not to have blue water. So I'm using light, and then I'm going to go to dark. Oh, that's so cute. This reminds me of, I don't know if anybody's ever seen that movie, I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. Where he's walking around in his 70s outfit with fish bowls in his shoes. Hilarious. So funny. So now we're just going around, like I said before, any area that would be behind another area would get a darker shadow. So like underneath the fish, on one side of the bowl, it's going to be a little darker. And then you just always go back over with another layer. Now, just like color pencils, you can only get so much depth with alcohol markers. So there's only so many layers you could put on before it like really doesn't make a difference. Okay, so to bring some of that other color up, because most people do, but I don't know. I like to have the colors all the way around the picture. So if you have some at the bottom, you have some at the top, or like in a pattern of 3 or in areas of 5. So we had all the creams and tans at the bottom. So now I want to go ahead and pull that up into the hat. And it also sort of takes on a gold color. So that helps as well. Now, even though I'm doing everything with alcohol marker, you still, even with all the shading that I put in with the markers, you still could go back in with your color pencils and go over it even more, add depth where you want it. I did use some gray, lighter gray, to make the glass not stark white, but not so much that you can't see through it. All right, so then I'm going to take these colors, and these are some of the Spectrum Noir colors again, and I'm going to go through and do like the fabric of the hat. And you're going to do the same process again, light to dark. And see, definitely in small areas, I always start with light, unless I know that I'm just going to make that area completely dark. So if you want any shading when it's a small area, I start with light, and then you can just dot in your darker colors. Now I started this piece in my marker, which is not making me happy. I just bought this marker not too long ago, and one part of it was dry, so I was like, ugh. But if you're trying to do a texture, that can help if you have kind of a dry marker. Now I grabbed some gel pens because I wanted to go in with the detail. And since it's so small, I wasn't going to sit there and do shading with it. So I'm just using a green gel pen to pull out the greens in the other areas of the picture. And it'll give it a little bit of sparkle. What is your favorite brand of gel pen? These are Tan Mitts, and I absolutely love them. I don't know how long, the glitter will stay in them and all that kind of stuff, but I really like how they come out of the pen. There's no like blobbing or anything, so I love these things. And I would buy them again. I like that they came with their own hard case, so it has like, where you slip it in with the elastic. It has its own case. It came with a swatch sheet that you can fill in. It came with some color pages, and it came with a refill for each pen. I love this set. Awesome. Now I switched to the brown gel pen. And I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Mm, 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 mm. I think probably when I get finished with this, I might go back with put some Posca and put it on like that glass section. Which will be kind of cool. And then I have to decide what color hair am I going to give her. So you can leave some comments below about what color hair you think she should have. And then I got to figure out what I'm going to do with this background. How dark I'm going to make it. If I'm going to go on the blue side, gray side. Don't know. Not sure. So I'm doing the same thing with her cane to kind of bring all these pieces together again. Get some glitter going in there. Gotta love the sparkle, sparkle. It's so funny because on these color pages, I've been using my tan mitts a lot, putting the glitter and sparkle on it. And yet when I do my colored images for my crafting, I hardly ever used glitter, like the gel pens or anything. Alcohol markers all the time, but so I'm like, yes. I also have noticed that since I've been doing coloring pages versus like coloring images for cards and journals, I've also been using a lot more of my stuff. So I have brushes and stress inks. I've got color tints and like, because I've always colored, so I've got lots of that kind of stuff around here. And so I'm glad that I can actually start using more of this stuff now. All right, thanks for watching, and we will be back with part 3.